Hello guys and dolls, super fights have been around since the beginning of time. There's David and Goliath, Samson and the lion, and of course, Jesus and the devil. So today I figured I'd do my top 5 on the biggest super fights of our time. So let's jump right into this. Again, these are the top super bouts that we've seen, not fantasy bouts and not Genghis Khan bullshit. So these are top 5 fights that we've actually seen. And let's get into it. Number 5 is Hagler versus Hearns. Hearns was an up-and-coming young boxing star, just lost to Sugar Ray Leonard, however, just beat Roberto Duran and was out for blood. Hagler was middleweight champ for 5 years, and Hearns wanted it come April 1985. From the very beginning, round 1, they were trading shots. Hagler hurt Hearns, Hearns hurt Hagler. It was a pretty insane bout, but in the end, which by the way came by knockout in round 3, Hagler came out on top. Number 4 is Tyson versus Spinks. You don't really need a whole lot of background information on this bout, but it was Tyson that landed that 3-piece that won him his biggest fight of his career in a mere 90 seconds. Number 3 is Duran versus Sugar Ray. People constantly compare Pacquiao to Duran and Sugar Ray to Mayweather, so this is probably as close of a bout as we'll ever get. And let's just face it and get over it and stop talking about it. I say that, and trust me, I'll probably talk about it again just because I'm so shitty that it's not going to happen. Anyhow, Sugar made $17.1 million and Roberto a staggering $29 million in the fucking 80s. Making that much fucking money. Anyhow, Leonard won on a UD, but this would spur a crazy lucrative trilogy between the two. Number 2 is Joe Louis versus Max Schmeling. The year was 1938, and we were at war with Germany. FDR rang up Joe and basically said, Joe, we need you. We need you at this time of war. We need you. That was a little bit of FDR if FDR and George Bush got together, so. But anyhow, you got what I'm saying. Basically, FDR was like, we need you, Joe. Joe would be facing Schmeling, a symbol of Nazism and white supremacy. Then who else to fight a white supremacist than a big black dude, of course. Louis was awarded the first round knockout that night, and a few years later, Hitler was dead and the war was over. I'd like to think that Louis had a lot to do with that. And the number 1 super bout of all time, according to me, it's obviously Ali versus Foreman, otherwise known the Rumble in the Jungle. It was 1974, and an undefeated Foreman was champ and had just brutally KO'd 2 people who had really troubled Ali. Not to mention, Ali was 32, going up against Foreman, 25. However, Ali took Foreman by way of KO, a beautiful and well-executed KO in the 8th round, and it was his rope-a-dope technique that forever cemented this fight in history. I wish I were alive to see that fight happen, or really any of Ali's fights. I am completely awed by his perseverance and his mental fortitude during this fight. It is breathtaking, at least to me. When I watch that fight, I can watch it over and over and over again. When their arms lock up, man, it is just like, oh my god, like you know what's coming. And I know Ali is a typical fan favorite, and you guys know I'm not really into whatever anybody does. I usually do the complete opposite. I'm not into things that everybody likes. I try to be different with everything. But to me, Ali is more than a legend. He just is. In all of my education, there's not an adjective that really comes to mind when I think of Ali. He just is. And I don't imagine anybody will ever be like him. So that is my number 1 super fight. Alright, so these were my top 5 super fights. What was your all-time favorite super fight? Let me know your thoughts by commenting below. And I will see you all tomorrow for headlines.